Coming up in this video is going to be a oil change. This is an oil change kit. I'm gonna show you how to replace your spark plugs, how to flush out your engine properly, taking care of the jet ski after you ride, and a bunch of other tips. All right, so you just brought your jet ski home and you're super excited to ride it, but here's the thing you wanna do first is make sure you break it in properly. You can look in the manual and it tells you what to do. You don't wanna go too fast for the first hour and you wanna break in the engine properly. So that's number one. This one right here is a 2023 Yamaha VX Cruiser. It's got the Yamaha TR1 engine in it. All right, so after your first break-in period or first ride with your jet ski on the water or after any ride, there's a couple things you have to do and some that are more preferred as well. For starters, you want to wash off your jet ski, use soap and water and scrub the entire thing down. Now, while the jet ski is important, it's also important to wash your trailer. Now, I don't wash it with soap, but it's important to rinse it off after running it in salt water, which I run it in salt water all the time. All right, so this jet ski, I don't need to wash it off because it's already clean, but I'm gonna show you what to do after you wash it. What you're gonna do is flush out the engine. Now, when you flush out your engine, I highly recommend to use some of this stuff right here, CRC, Salt and Corrosion Terminator. This stuff will keep the salt from corroding your engine. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. All right, so to flush out your jet ski, you're gonna take the seats off. This one just has a clip on the bottom. Next seat has a clip underneath as well. You can take out that as well. So the flush port on this engine right here is that cap. So you just unscrew this and that will expose where you flush out your engine. Now when you bought your jet ski, it should have come with an adapter. Looks like this. You attach this to your garden hose. So to use the salt terminator, you're going to want to get a little thing like this. Just a container. You fill this up with the salt terminator. It goes in line between the jet ski and the water hose, and it'll flush out your engine with the salt terminator. Now, this is really important in salt water because trust me, metal will corrode like crazy with salt, so you cannot leave salt in there. But the purpose of doing it today and why I'm doing it right now is because I'm about to change the oil and I want to run the engine for like 2 minutes to heat it up, get it to operating temperature, and then we'll change the oil. So we got it hooked up to the hose. You just put it down in there, push down and twist, and that is going to lock it in place. One thing that's really important is to start the jet ski first and then turn the water on second. Let it run for a couple minutes to flush out all your salt. For this purpose, we're changing the oil. We're gonna let it run for 2 minutes. Before we shut it off, we're gonna shut the water off first and then shut the jet ski off second. And that applies as well as when you bring it in from the ocean, you're done for the day, you go to run it, you're gonna shut the water off first and then shut the jet ski off. All right, jet ski is on, so now we're gonna start it, and then we are going to turn this into the position where it starts mixing in the salt terminator. I'm gonna let this run for 2 minutes, and you can also verify that this is flushing properly. You do wanna make sure water's coming out. Take it off and shut it off. All right, so now we ran the engine and got it up to temperature. So to change the oil, there's only one way to do it. You actually have to open up the dipstick here and you gotta suck it out of the dipstick's port right in there. So to get it out, I got this little tank here, and you put this pump on the top, and then you got the line which you will stick into the engine compartment and into where the dipstick is, and that will pump out the oil. So this takes a while. I'm gonna get that started. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the oil dipstick out, and I'm gonna get the hose from the end of this tank here, and you're basically just gonna stick it down where the dipstick goes, all the way down to the bottom. Get the hand pump, put it on there, and then just start pumping. Once you get a few pumps, you'll see the oil will start coming in. So I'm gonna let that all drain into here, and then what you can do is, so right here on the back of your engine, that's the oil filter. What you can do is stick a screwdriver in the top of your oil filter, and that way when you take it off, all the oil doesn't spill out, it'll actually drain out, and you'll suck it out with this tube. All right, so this right here is the oil change kit that I got. It comes with all the oil that I need and the filter, so let's open it up. We got all of our oil, and this is what I want right here. This is the oil filter. Make sure you take off the plastic off the oil filter right here. Now it's important, when you put this on, you want to put a little bit of oil around this seal. Just wipe a little bit on with your finger and then screw it on. Now because this oil filter is so small, using a band to take the old one off doesn't really work. So I got these pliers right here. These are meant for taking off small oil filters. So let's take the old one off. All right, so I got that hole in the top, so minimal oil should come out. I'm gonna get these pliers on there. Make sure you grab the top of the oil filter, otherwise it will just crush. All right, a little bit of oil did come out. So it's actually a good idea to have some paper towel ready to wipe that up before it runs everywhere. I got some oil on my hands, so I'm just going to rub that seal a little bit. And this one also has a bunch of oil around there too, but you're just gonna get the filter, screw it back on. And now this is fine if you just get it tight as you possibly can by hand, and you don't need to use a wrench or anything. And if you need, you can use a rag to grab onto it and twist it, but just give it a really good twist, hand tight, because if you put those pliers on, you're probably going to scar up the filter and you could puncture a hole in it, so don't do that. Okay, so we got all the oil out. It has finished draining, so I can take that out now. I'm gonna put the dipstick back in place. Now this cap right here, I just took it off. It's located right here. That is where you're gonna fill your oil back up. Check your manual for the specific amount of oil. And it says right here, engine oil quantity with oil filter replacement, 3.59 US quarts. All right, so I got just a little over 3.5 quarts. Now it doesn't show up on the dipstick, so I'm going to run it for, the manual says 6 minutes, so if you want, you can do it for 6 minutes. I just did it for a couple minutes. And then you let it sit for a minute, because if you open this, a bunch of oil spills out. So let it kind of settle out for maybe a minute, and then go ahead, check your dipstick. If you need more oil, add some, run it for a couple minutes, shut it off, let it sit for a second, and then check that dipstick again. Okay, so now the oil and oil filter is done. Now we are going to do the spark plugs. So to do the spark plugs, you're gonna take out that bolt, take this plug out, which you just push down the clip right here and wiggle it off. So take that off, take these 2 bolts out. This will just pop up and then it'll expose your spark plug. On the Yamaha Tier 1 engine, there's 3 cylinders, so you're gonna have a spark plug in here, in here, and here. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch those 3 out. And you don't have to crank any of these down like super tight when you put them back. You can kind of gauge just by how you take them apart. Shouldn't be too hard. And then this right here just pops out, just like that. And then you can see down in there is your spark plug. You're gonna use a deep socket and take out your spark plug. And when you put these in, just get them nice and snug, but you do not have to heave on them when you're putting your spark plugs in. And there we go. And now this right here, this was changed probably 15 hours ago on the engine, which was maybe, call it a year ago. This was replaced, and look at it now. It's already starting to get corroded. So it's important to change these. Here's the new one. You can take this out of your socket if it has one. That way it doesn't get stuck on the this spark plug when it's down there. And then see if you can just get it started by hand. And then get the ratchet on there for the last bit. Just snug, that's good. All right, before we put these back on, you can get a little bit of dielectric grease, put some in there. That way when the spark plug goes through, it gets some on top of it. And then you just push this back on, get your clip, and then you can also put some dielectric grease on this clip as well. And then you just pop that back in. Just like that. Put your 2 bolts in and then repeat the process. So when you're done riding, you're gonna flush out your engine, and then you're gonna wanna buy this right here. It's basically a silicone spray, and you just spray this all over the entire engine, every single area, all your brackets, electrical connections, literally everything. And that is going to give it a nice coat, keep it looking brand new. And this stuff right here, I mean, it's like $7 a can, but I sprayed on everything, even all the bolts, keeps all the rust off over there. And you can even use it on the trailer if you wanted. I go in salt water, so I'll just spray some on the lug nuts, a little on the leaf springs, keeps everything looking good. Now, if you're gonna be storing the jet ski for an extended period of time, make sure you fill it up with fuel all the way and then add some fuel stabilizer. This is gonna help make sure that your fuel lines don't get clogged up, your fuel pump, and fuel sits for a while and then it starts to gel up. So add some of that to your tank. And then also, you're gonna wanna use some of this right here. This is engine fogging oil. So if you're gonna let this jet ski sit for the off season, it is best to use this. You basically just follow the instructions, but essentially you get this little cap here, you open that up and you spray in some of this fogging oil while the engine's running, and it'll basically put oil into the cylinders, keep them lubed up for long-term storage. Also, it's a good idea to keep an eye on your battery. What I like to do is, this right here is a trickle charger. I have it running up out of the jet ski and down to the back. So I have this always on the jet ski. It'll maintain the charge in the battery. That way it's good to go once I'm ready to use the ski again. Lastly, you also want to do a general inspection of the ski. Make sure, check all of your bands, all your brackets, make sure that they are intact. All your electrical connections, you can put some dielectric grease in them if they're looking dry. And then also your steering cable. It's hard to tell to show you where it's at, but right there, that's your steering cable. So you can put some grease up on there and then just work it back and forth. Keep your steering lubed up. And then also on the back side, your steering cable is right here. So you can put some grease on there, work it back and forth. Make sure you check that hose clamp. And then you can also spray that silicone spray all around here on these hinges, literally everywhere. Take a look in there. Make sure you have no clogs. Everything's clear and free. Now, if you follow a very meticulous schedule for your jet ski for maintenance and every time after you ride, cleaning it up, it's gonna last much longer. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.